Back to our top story. 16th District U.S. Congressman Darren LaHood met with Belvidere Mayor Clinton Morris Friday afternoon for a Stellantis progress report. Our Miriam Niesmeyer spoke with both leaders about what still needs to happen before workers return.
Mike, Congressman LaHood tells me federal support for upgrades could help drive the return of auto production at the Stellantis plant, while Morris hopes a successful reopening could bring back good-paying jobs and draw suppliers back to Belvidere.
This plant is ready to go with a little work.
Congressman Darren LaHood brought that message to Belvidere Friday, where he met with Mayor Clint Morris about the Stellantis plant's future.
We'll keep our foot on the pedal when it comes to holding the Trump administration accountable on this and making sure this happens.
LaHood hopes for a 2027 to 2028 opening date.
It's had a long history. A lot of great workers here, a lot of vehicles that have been produced that have been a tremendous asset to our community, but also to our state and the country.
LaHood says a $3 billion Department of Energy loan would help retool the plant for Jeep Cherokee and Compass production. He also points to infrastructure work outside the plant, including grade crossing improvements and water and sewer upgrades.
This is a win-win-win for the community here, for the state of Illinois, and for the workers.
Belvidere Mayor Clint Morris says the plant's idling costs families good-paying jobs and cuts into business for restaurants and suppliers.
We lost 2,800 suppliers as well. With the 4,000 employees at the plant.
The reopening plan calls for about 3,300 plant jobs, while Morris pushes to draw suppliers back.
That to me would be the icing on the cake. There's a lot of workers that have lost opportunity to have a quality of life, have a good paying job.
Morris is confident the future is bright for Stellantis and Belvidere.
I do think that I'm more optimistic than ever, because they are going to be able to make a product that they believe they can sell.
In October of 2025, Stellantis unveiled plans to reopen its idled Belvidere assembly plant as part of a massive $13 billion production expansion in the United States. And Morris said the company never gave him any indication that the plant would close permanently.
LaHood says he hopes for an announcement soon regarding the reopening of the plant.